Mera, DCAU, and Prime. Mera is the Queen of Atlantis and the wife of Aquaman. Mera is the crown princess of the underwater kingdom of Xebel, the former Queen of Atlantis and the wife of the hero Aquaman. History. DCAU. Mera ruled beside her husband Aquaman. She had a son, who was next in line for the throne of Atlantis. Mera helped her husband protect Atlantis with the aid of Dr. Fate, his wife Inza and Solomon Grundy. She later attended the funeral of Superman with her husband. Although there is no mention of Mera in the future, she would later give birth to her and Arthur's daughter, Mera, who would serve as a member of the JLU. Prime. Early life. Mera was born to King Rhys and his wife in the Kingdom of Xebel, one of the 7 Atlantean kingdoms of old which had split off from the main Atlantis during the event that swallowed the continent into the deep. When Mera was young her mother died, and her father was left alone to raise her. One night Rhys took Mera out of the kingdom to see their ancient enemy Atlantis up close, where she was disgusted by its beauty, believing it didn't deserve such luxury. Mera was incredibly close with her grandmother Lamia, who trained the sea beasts used in Xebelian wars. Mera was forged into the perfect warrior over years of her life by her father's chief taskmaster Laron, and was taught the royal secret of hydrokinesis. Meeting Aquaman. As a young adult, Mera was promised to be wed to the military chief Nereus by her father. Rhys believed that vengeance should be exacted on Atlantis, and so tasked Mera with finding and assassinating the king of Atlantis. After returning from her job, she was to marry Nereus. Before she left, Mera was given a shell of sounds by her father. This device contained a message for Mera from her mother which she was to open after making it to the surface. With fury and hatred in her heart, Mera set out to find and execute the king of Atlantis. Upon reaching the surface, she asked a group of sailors where she could find the king of Atlantis. The sailors showed Mera a newspaper article of the supposed king of Atlantis Arthur Curry/Aquaman, whom Mera learned was a hero instead of a tyrant. Eventually, she found him rescuing wounded whales, and was completely taken aback by his kindness. Impressed by her hydrokinesis powers, Arthur asked Mera to join him for lunch, which she agreed to. Arthur asked her what the shell around her neck meant, making her realize she hadn't listened to her mother's message yet. In the message, her mother told Mera that she should make her own path in life instead of following the demands of her kingdom. Taking this advice to heart, Mera gave up on killing Aquaman and instead fell in love with the hero. The Trench. Having decided to completely abandon Xebel to pursue a life on land with Arthur, Mera helped defend Amnesty Bay when it was attacked by a carnivorous underwater species called the Trench. Mera and Aquaman followed the Trench, which had taken hostages to the Marianas Trench. There they discovered the predators dying out and desperately trying to feed their children in the remnants of an Atlantean craft. Mera and Arthur saved the captives, and Aquaman reluctantly caused the Trench's extinction by pushing a tectonic plate over the Trench's lair to prevent further loss of human life. After this incident, Arthur and Mera adopted one of the victims' dog and named him Aquadog. Shortly after, Mera was arrested while buying dog food when she broke the arm of a man who grossly harassed her. Although she initially struggled, Mera willingly gave herself up when she heard police chatter of a hostage situation she thought she could stop. When the police got to the crime scene, Mera broke out, apprehended the criminal, and fled the scene. Later, a woman named Jennifer Posey, who had seen Mera get arrested, visited the hero and volunteered to get Mera supplies whenever necessary, as she knew what had really happened at the store and supported her. Atlantean invasion. While Mera and Aquaman were investigating some abnormal undersea activity with Batman in Gotham City, a giant wave began to emerge and threaten the city. Arthur believed that the wave was his brother's doing, following the Atlantean war plans against the surface. Mera attempted to keep the wave back, but was overwhelmed by its size. Arthur went to meet his brother the Ocean Master, who ordered war upon the surface due to a U.S. submarine firing on Atlantis. Ocean Master banished Aquaman and several other members of the Justice League to the Marianas Trench for opposing him, forcing Mera and Cyborg to rescue them. After the heroes were saved, the Justice League unleashed the Trench to hold back the invading Atlantean army and stop Ocean Master's plot. With Ocean Master captured and Aquaman restored to the throne, Arthur and Mera realized that the real person behind the war was Arthur's personal advisor and mentor Vulko, who hoped that the incident would incite Aquaman to return to his rightful place in Atlantis. Return of the Dead King. Sometime after the invasion, Mera resided in Amnesty Bay, as she knew a princess of Xebel would not be welcomed in the kingdom of Atlantis. However, she was discovered and arrested for her previous assault charge. Mera fled from the police, but encountered a mysterious man, who used ice manipulation to knock her unconscious. Mera later woke up on a boat outside the Bermuda Triangle. Her kidnapper told her that he was the man who designed the imprisonment of Xebel, as he was Atlan, the first king of Atlantis. Atlan wanted to use Mera to bypass Xebel's security. However, she escaped and attempted to warn the underwater city's inhabitants of the impending threat. Upon getting to the bottom of Xebel, she was greeted by Nereus, her former fiancé, who asked her where she had been all those years. Mera was deemed a traitor by Nereus after she told him about what had happened during her time on the surface. Before Mera could be arrested, Atlan broke through the barrier and froze all the people in Xebel, including Mera. Aquaman soon broke Mera out of her ice prison and began fighting Atlan while Mera began freeing the soldiers of Xebel. However, despite all this, the Xebelians sided with Atlan anyway as they saw him as their true king, forcing Aquaman and Mera to leave Xebel. Arthur and Mera attempted to warn Atlantis of the villainous king's return, but Aquaman was sent into a coma during a coincidental separate attack by the Scavenger. With their hero incapacitated and without a leader, Atlantis fell to Atlan. Mera was imprisoned for 6 months, often going days without water as punishment for her escape attempts. Eventually Arthur returned and, together, he and Mera led a revolt and freed all of the imprisoned Atlanteans. Arthur forced Atlan into a lava bed where the old king melted away. With their master defeated, Nereus and the Xebelians fled back to Xebel. As the threat was averted, Mera returned to Amnesty Bay to live her life of isolation but soon decided to rule alongside her partner, believing she could rise above the prejudice. However, as she expected, she faced opposition. She would later survive an assassination attempt by xenophobic assailants loyal to Ocean Master and eventually brought them to justice. Siren and the Coven. While investigating a collection of mysterious structures that appeared to kill anything they touched, Mera was kidnapped and held hostage by her sister Hela aka the Siren, and the Coven of Thule, who were behind the structure's sudden appearances. The Coven were Atlantean warlocks who split Atlantis into 2 dimensions, where they could prepare for an invasion. Siren stole Mera's appearance using magic and ruled Atlantis for several months while she was captured, weakening it for the invasion. However, eventually, Mera was able to break free and defeat her sister with the help of Garth, Tula, Swat and Merc. With the help of their allies Mera and Arthur were able to destroy the Coven, ending their invasion. Relations collapse. Sometime afterwards, Arthur asked Mera to be the face of the political campaign between Atlantis and the surface world, which she accepted. Mera decided to fully embrace her new role as she donned the same Atlantean chainmail as Arthur and began calling herself Aquawoman, but this moniker was short-lived. While Wally West, the original Kid Flash, was escaping the Speed Force in what could be described as his rebirth, Mera was brought to Paradise Island where Arthur proposed to her and the two became engaged. Knowing of their engagement, Aquaman's arch-nemesis Black Manta attempted to kill Mera to hurt Arthur. Arthur was able to defeat Manta, however the entire situation caused Spindrift, the facility where their fight was held, to lose its status as an embassy. Due to this, Mera and Aquaman traveled to the White House to discuss the problem with the president. Upon arrival, Arthur was arrested due to an American ship called the Pontchartrain being attacked by a group of Atlanteans. As tensions grew worse between Atlantis and the surface world, Mera broke Arthur out of prison against his wishes. The pair fought off an entire U.S. battalion until Superman arrived on behalf of the government to stop them. Aquaman and Mera retreated into the water, but not before Superman encouraged them to fix the mess that had been created. Arthur usurped, Mera Justice Leaguer. At some point, it became clear that the people of Atlantis were displeased with Arthur and were planning a revolution to replace him with Coram Wrath. After the coup started, Mera witnessed Arthur being seemingly killed by Atlantean soldiers and, for a period of time after this, went into a phase of mourning at the Curry Lighthouse. However, this was short-lived as Tula told her Arthur was possibly alive. Upon hearing this, Mera traveled to Atlantis where she used her powers for days, attempting to break through the Crown of Thorns, the invisible, magical barrier that had been placed around Atlantis. Mera, while attempting to shatter the dome keeping her from her fiancé, was confronted by the Justice League due to the massive tidal wave she had unintentionally caused by her attacking the Crown of Thorns. After a lengthy battle between herself and the team, she eventually calmed down after hearing that her actions threatened millions of civilians. Impressed by the extent of Mera's hydrokinetic abilities and her excellent skills in combat, Batman invited Mera to join the League as a temporary replacement for Aquaman until they could find a way to help him. While working as a member of the League, Mera had a number of adventures on the surface world. She joined them in battle with Shirak, and also faced the time-displaced descendants of the Justice League. This undertaking led to Mera's encounter with her daughter from a possible future, Serenity. The descendants of the League traveled back to the past in order to prevent the uprising of the Sovereign who had ravaged their futures. Returning to rescuing Aquaman from the man who usurped their kingdom, Mera approached Garth, the former Aqualad, and pleaded with him to use his potent magical abilities against the Crown of Thorns. Knowing what was at stake, Garth agreed to help Mera bring down the crown. Mera successfully infiltrated Atlantis using a magic necklace Garth gave her, but the item had an unexpected side effect that permanently removed her ability to breathe underwater, forcing her to flee to the surface. During the invasion of the Dark Knights of the Dark Multiverse, Mera and the rest of Atlantis were changed into fish monsters known as Dead Water by the Drowned. She was returned to normal when the Dark Knights were defeated by the Justice League, with Aquaman alive among them. Powers and abilities, DCAU. Powers. Atlantean physiology. Amphibian. Enhanced durability. Enhanced strength. Abilities. Stealth, she was able to sneak past and spy on ORM as well as trained Atlantean troops in order to find out about her husband and rescue the Justice League. Weaponry, she attacked betraying Atlantean troops with a heavy mace. Powers and abilities, Prime Earth. Powers. Atlantean physiology, the Atlanteans are offshoots of humanity that are biologically adapted to the deep ocean environment. All their abilities are byproducts of their bodies being adapted to survive unprotected in the tremendous pressures of the ocean depths. Amphibian nature, like all Atlanteans, Mera is able to breathe on land and while submerged in water due to a pair of gills hidden behind her ears. She can also talk unhindered while completely submerged. Enhanced senses. Enhanced vision, Mera is able to see perfectly in the pitch blackness of the deep ocean. Enhanced hearing, Mera's hearing is far greater than any human's. Superhuman durability, Mera can survive the crushing pressures of the deep ocean, which applies 1,086 pounds of pressure per square inch. Heat resistance, Mera can survive in the immensely hot conditions deep below the surface of the earth. Superhuman reflexes, as an Atlantean, Mera's reflexes are far quicker than any ordinary human's. Mera was able to dodge a bolt of lightning at point-blank range, meaning she can process events happening at 220 million miles per hour and react to them accordingly. Superhuman speed, Mera can swim at speeds that match her partner's and possibly surpasses them. At a casual swim, Mera has been reported to move at 575 miles per hour according to fellow hero Animal Man. At her fastest, Mera can travel at a speed greater than Mach 5, this means Mera is capable of swimming faster than 3,836 miles per hour or 6,174 kilometers per hour. Superhuman stamina. Superhuman agility. Superhuman strength, Mera's strikes crash like tidal waves. When fighting off the trench, she displayed that she could crack their subhuman skulls with just a single strike. While above water, she was able to snap a man's arm just by adding some pressure to it. Mera possesses considerable superhuman strength, carrying capacity of at least 70 tons. She can easily leap hundreds of yards, and effortlessly rip through metal barriers. Super leaping, like Aquaman, Mera can leap incredible distances due to her powerful leg muscles and dense bone structure. She once leapt out of the ocean and into a moving plane, meaning she can jump at least 2,000 meters into the air. Hydrokinesis, Mera can control water due to her being royalty within Xebel. She often uses her aquakinesis to drain a person of their bodily fluids, quickly disabling them. She can even draw upon water sources such as the Tear of Extinction, a divine elixir of death. She cannot control snow or ice, and she does need a source to pull water from, as she cannot create it. Liquid construct creation, Mera has very fine control over water and can cause it to take any shape or form she chooses, such as hands, piranhas and people. Toxikinesis, formerly when the Drowned altered her into a dead water hybrid, she gained the ability to transmute water into debilitating poison which could even disorient Aquaman. Abilities. Deception, Mera was trained in the art of deception in order to kill Aquaman. Diving. Master combatant, Mera was trained by her father to murder the King of Atlantis, and was vigorously trained since childhood order to prepare herself. She has fought Black Manta to a standstill, and bested the Ocean Master in combat despite being in a weakened state. Historiography, as a princess of Xebel, Mera was taught the traditions and lore of Xebel from an early age to prepare her for her role in the Xebelian monarchy. She also knows many Atlantean and surface tales such as the legend of King Arthur. Leadership, Mera has been deemed a great enough leader by the elders of Atlantis that she was chosen to rule the nation after the downfall of Korm Wrath. Political science, Mera was temporarily the figurehead of Surface World and Atlantis peace negotiations. Swimming, Mera has lived underwater her whole life. As such, she is an expert in swimming and has taken to it like humans take to walking. Swordsmanship. Paraphernalia. Equipment. Shell of Sounds, a relic that can contain recorded memories and dialogue from the user, in order to convey their memories to future generations. Gauntlet, Mera discovered a mysterious gauntlet in a vault of experimental weapons. Healing, the gauntlet allows Mera to use her hydrokinesis to heal severe injuries. Weapons. Mera's trident. Mera often wields her own trident during combat. ORM's trident, formerly Clarion. Tear of Extinction. Formerly Mera wielded a fragment of the Tear of Extinction, capable of killing gods. She has channeled this water into a scabbard and the clarion so she can use it as a sword. If you want to support me, check out my Patreon at https://www.patreon.com/Kayashin. I tend to polls that decide important plot stuff in my P at Trian. Many thanks to my awesome patrons. Ben Phillips.
If you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later, bye bye.